folks, welcome back to another Palm Masters video. So, well, some of you guys thought I, wouldn't be talking about this. First of all, very funny, good meme. Second of all, you probably don't know me at all, which is also pretty funny. So, basically, what this video, we're going to talk about is, as you can see from the title, and you probably feel this and know this, right? Some issues the community has been having with the game lately, right? And also the game's issues, which have been basically, for those who are for some reason living under a rock, and hasn't been noticing, the community is not very happy these days, right? If you go on to whatever social media, if you click on their Twitter replies, or check the, game Reddit, all that stuff, on Discord, people are not happy. And that's pretty evident, right? And I think what basically happened here, right? A lot of people were mainly complaining, everything exploded when the Entei Legendary Arena rerun didn't give out rewards, right? To people who've already completed. I mean, I think new players still get the rewards if they completed it. At least I hope they do. Not 100% sure now, but yeah, I'm joking. I'm pretty sure they do. But mainly just for people who've completed before, we got nothing. The only reason to complete the Legendary Arena rerun this time, other than for fun, is just to get rid of that, really annoying red exclamation mark that keeps on reminding us that we haven't completed it this time, even though completing it gives us, 2 1-star level up manuals or something? Very funny, very funny. Nice meme from DNA. So, basically, after that happened, all the, social media communities basically exploded. And I don't think it's particularly because, or strictly because of that in Legendary Arena. I think what it seems to be is all these issues that have been persisting for months now, right? Or even if you want to go that far, the game's inception, there are some issues that still haven't been completely addressed, since the game launched. Although, to be fair to them, right, they have obviously improved a lot of, issues, right? You guys go back to last year, this time, it was a very, very rough time for Poem Masters last year, this time. And it's a very rough time right now as well. Obviously, you can't really compare these directly because last year, this time, the game was complete potato. Nothing was happening, no events. The only mode, relevant mode was that EX co-op that, there wasn't any single player content. It was all co-op, and you absolutely had to get the newest gacha units to actually complete these stages, which were very ridiculous. But afterwards they started working on these dev letters and stuff, and been slowly taking feedback and improving the game, right? So can't really compare it to that, but what we have right now is nothing satisfactory, right? It's people aren't satisfied. People have been review bombing, if that's a term, I think, them on Play Stores, whatever, right? And people are big mad again, as you could evidently see what's going on around the community, and that is not good. I can't. It's not good. I don't know what else to say, right? And yeah, let's talk about the issues. Here's the thing, we could talk about some of these issues in the video, right? But I don't really want to project my opinions on how the game is going, how I would want to improve upon it, onto what you guys think. I mean, I really don't want to influence your opinions on how you want to improve the game. I really do want you to, decide what you think is lacking, what you think needs improvement, all that stuff, and write feedback to them, right? This is not a note to DNA video, because if you guys don't know, there really isn't any point for me to do a note to DNA video. I've already told DNA most of my thoughts and feedback and stuff. about what I think could be done better, right? If you guys don't know, I am in the DNA partner program. Is that what it's called, or is it the Pokemon Masters partner program? But anyways, basically, it's a program where we get to have a contact with the DNA folks. We share feedback, talk about how to improve the game, how the game is going, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and yeah, that's a very very important part of the program, right? Which I personally do take advantage of a lot, right? This weekend we had a very very long conversation about the current issues that have been coming up and stuff, and I think one of the very like the biggest things that in my opinion that the community are not feeling satisfactory about is not per se anything that's in the game wise, right? Nothing gameplay related. It's this sense of disconnect, right? I feel is probably the biggest thing here, that it's hard. It sometimes seems like the developers aren't exactly listening to what the fan base is talking about, the player base is talking about, right? A lot of people, they make memes about it. There's a lot of them out there, right? How DNA's not listening to feedback, they're whatever, right? And that's really tricky, because here's the thing. As a person who does talk to them, right, on a regular basis, talk to them about the issues, and when I say that, I don't only mean just the stuff that I think need to be improved. I usually just send whatever feedback the community has, even if I personally don't agree with it, right? And they see it, they definitely see it, they hear it, but the tricky part is the process of receiving that feedback and actually making it work out, right? And that's, I think, where the disconnect comes from. Again, in my opinion, from my perspective, how I see things, right, is that they hear the feedback, and again, I can guarantee you they hear it, they see it, but there's a process which makes it feel like they're not, right? Which is, they get the feedback, they have to work out a plan on it, right? In terms of how they do it in game, how it's going to work out, the messaging, right? That all has to be carefully crafted. I mean, they are a corporation. They have to, they can't just, like me writing essays, scrap something together in like 20 minutes before the due date and send it in, right? So it takes time. Again, there's a lot of issues with the game, right? And even if you guys were in charge, if I were in charge, it's not something I could solve in 20 minutes, right? You come up with, there are many things that they have to consider and to make the game better, right? So there's that part, there's the messaging part, and there's also obviously the implementation part, right? I think a good example would be the Sing to Suit Blue sync grid, right? They heard the feedback, they talked about it, they came up with a plan, and then they put out the messaging. But the messaging, in between the messaging and the implementation, right, that took a while. In between receiving feedback and between putting out the messaging, that also took a while. So there is a cycle there. So we just have to sort of see when it happens. The real annoying part here, and I think was a bit of a missed opportunity by DNA, I think last month, was because we did have a pretty big, and this is generally how they communicate with the fan base for the most part, is through dev letters, right? And our last dev letter was a pretty big one. It was celebrating the anniversary. It was pretty big. It was cool, right? It was in video format, which is exciting. Personally, I wish they do those more often. Those are fun. Come on, Mr. Sasuke, right? And that one was fun, but it was like 2 months ago, and they didn't put out a dev letter last month, and it wasn't necessary in terms of guiding where the content was going, because last month because the dev letter before, last month basically outlined everything that was happening during their anniversary, all that stuff. It wasn't really necessary in terms of content wise to put out a dev letter, but it does give this, further this feeling of disconnect between, again, the player base and the developer team, right? In terms of what's been going on, what's happening, right? All that stuff. So I do think last month not putting out a dev letter was a missed opportunity. Even though, again, on the other hand, yeah, it's the anniversary. They've already addressed most of the stuff that they want to do content-wise, and, it's the anniversary hype. Not a lot of people were really looking forward to what's happening next month or looking ahead. So, yeah, I think that was probably, again, this is just a guess on my part, and all of this is mostly a guess, right? Probably why they didn't put one out, but again, I do think that was a missed opportunity. So we'll see what happens this month in terms of dev letter. Although usually, like, we like in terms of like dev letters, right? Usually I do have to say those are crafted like before, right? So I'm not exactly sure if it would include anything in terms of the feedback that we've had recently or whatever, because it should be coming out soon, right? What day is it today? October the 9th. Usually comes out in the middle of the month, which I'd expect it somewhere next week or so, right? Around next week, give or take a few more days, right? That's usually when it comes out. If it doesn't come out, then I don't know what else to say. Maybe at the end of the month, which, again, could also be possible because we had one at the end of the month as well, right? But obviously, the sooner the better. And if there's any other method of communication, that would be very, very nice as well. If they don't wait for the dev letter or something, put out something separate in terms of the recent dissatisfaction with the from the community, right? So we'll see how that goes. Again, communication I do think is was a bit of an issue here. Again, like I mentioned before, they see the feedbacks. I send them over. Like I post these memes to them. They see the memes. Keep making the memes, by the way. There was one post that was shared a lot. Let's see if I could find it. I'm not sure if I could find it. That I think someone was using to out. Why my browser froze? Fantastic. Yeah. My browser froze. That was like detailing like some of the issues. Like, oh, there we go. Nice. I think a certain person had with the game, and they put it in a very, very great format in my opinion, right? Not that I agreed with everything on the list. There were great few points that I did agree with, but in terms of just messaging, I think that was, oh, I think this is right. Yeah, I think it's this one, which I showed them as well, right? Like this, a lot of times messaging, like as a person who does study this, right, a bit, messaging is very important. The way you craft your message, the way you present it, right? I think this is a very, very effective way of crafting messages, and messaging, right? Yeah, the graphics, it combined with words, sort of comic form, poster form, right? I do think this this sort of messaging is very, very effective, right? Not going to go into details. Again, you have your own opinions about what you think could be improved or fixed or whatever. But yeah, keep on posting these. As they on DNA side constantly remind you guys to keep on posting feedback and in-game stuff. They do, as long as respectfully, don't call people names. That's kind of weird. But yeah, as long as you respectfully post feedback, they do see it. They really, really do see it. I promise you, they see it. But again, in terms of the cycle of how communication, implementation, right? It's a long cycle because I have to work on stuff, and that's where I think a lot of the disconnect comes from. So what would be very nice would be some sort of communication right now or sometime soon, right, from the dev team. Are they going to fix, just in terms of short term wise, are they going to fix the rewards from the Legendary Arena? I'm pretty sure nothing is, again, this is not me confirming or it's just me speculating, right? I don't think um, anything's gonna happen to the NT Legendary Arena. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong, right? Maybe they could give out rewards for the Latios one or the Cobalion one. Maybe not. Maybe they'll wait to fix things next month, because that's just generally how the cycle goes, right? In terms of their just on the programming side, right? Again, it's not me confirming or denying anything. We'll see how it goes, right? So yeah, just keep posting feedback. Keep letting them know. Posting memes, they help. I assure you, they look at the memes. Memes are very, very, jokes aside, memes are also a very effective way of communicating as well. Just again, in terms of feedback wise, make it respectful. I mean, if just take yourself for example. If you're at work, someone's not really satisfied with your work, right, or whatever, you don't want someone be chewing you out either, right? That's kind of rude. Again, constructive feedback is always nice. But yeah, we'll see what happens. For the most part, right? I think a really big issue that people have been having, not just the legendary arena thing. I think, like I mentioned before, I think the legendary arena thing, it's not like the main issue. That's what it's what set everything on fire. It's like the last straw, sort of, except not last yet, second last. I don't know. It's what like kind of exploded everything, right? But a really big one is in terms, and I think this was just in the big picture, I think this was probably not the best move for Polar Masters when they did this, was the whole rebranding for the EX thing, right? Polar Masters EX, look, all your sync pairs, well, not all of them, your sync pairs get new outfits, they get new skills. There's 6 stars now, which ascended the 5-star limit that we had before. And you need 20 5-star potential tickets and these time-gated limited champion spirit things as well to ascend them. And I do think that was a bit of a misstep for them. Like, if you were going to rebrand your whole game in terms of branding wise, right, and you launch this new feature, which is cool. It's cool, right? I mean, people, I like these outfits. These skills are fun. Although, personally, I would have liked them to be more, if they were more individualized, more unique. Because, like, Garchomp having a AoE sync move is so much weaker than, like, say, Singsu Grimsley having an AoE sync move, right? But that's a side point which I've discussed before, right, with you guys. So yeah. I thought that was not the best way to go about it. I do understand both sides of this issue, right? Because, on the other hand, these 5-star power-ups, they're basically a 5-star, right? If they want to give them, these are really rare materials. But then my criticism would be, why would you make this the focus in the first place? Then why wouldn't you make the why don't just make the process much easier? You can make the effects more weak or whatever. Like, folks already had to like get that 5-star. Well, most of these are 5 stars right now. Skyla could come out later, and then we'll have a 3-star EX. But they're already pretty hard to obtain in the first place, and then you're making them very, very hard to send with. And again, I do understand them not giving out loads of 5-star power-ups, because, again, they're basically a 5-star, right, equivalent, which are supposed to be very rare. Then you have to spend all those very rare materials to, like, then ascend it to get, a bonus, which these bonuses are generally nice, right? Not all of them. I mean, some tech sync pairs having that 1.5 time, and some strikers having an AoE sync move are kind of doo-doo, but, mostly supports are really good, but the other two depends, right? Maybe should have just went with just champion spirits, right? Didn't have to be 20 out of 20 or whatever. Just something more accessible, right? More accessible. I personally don't know how they're gonna fix this, right? Because they already made it so that it needs 5-star power ups, and again, it's just hard to give out 5-star power-ups, right? Although I do have to say the amount that we're getting right now are relatively low if we're not spending gems. I mean, if we're spending gems on these banners, reruns with these, the power-up gifts, those obviously give a lot, right? But just in terms of free-to-play wise, right? It's really hard to get, and I just don't think there's a really easy solution here, right? But again, I don't want to get into that. You guys have your own opinions, whatever, right? So anyways, that's basically what I really want to talk about. Sorry if this video was kind of weird, abrasive. If you're having fun with the game still, if you're still enjoying the game, first of all, I personally can't understand. I mean, I'm still enjoying the game, but if you have like zero issues with it, I don't know how that's possible. But good for you, I guess. I mean, I'm sorry about this video. I apologize for ruining your day. But I do personally believe, there are issues in the game, certain issues in the game that should be at least addressed, right? At least addressed. But if you're still enjoying the game, if you think there's no issues, good for you. If you are like me, and you do have issues with the game and certain aspects, all that stuff, right? Let them know. Again, respectfully send in feedback. I promise you, they see them. Although, sometimes it doesn't feel like because they send in those automated reply messages, but, that's just how, customer support works generally, right? But yeah, they see them, even though they won't personally, respond to you, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, right? Or at least I think most of the time they don't, but they see them, they read them, it helps, right? Also, do keep in mind that survey that we had, I think last month or something. Hopefully the developer letter will address some of that as well. Yeah, but that's about it, right? Post more memes, they help. Just writing in feedback helps. Again, just don't be, don't be super rude about it, whatever. Personally, I don't find a lot of these funny, but I do find them effective, right? There are some funny ones. Are there any funny ones? Let me find one to end this video off with. This was okay. As you can see, I rewatched it before. Dwayne Johnson. Absolutely sucks. Very Dwayne Johnson. Anyways, you guys get the point. Again, sorry for the rant. If you guys didn't want to wake up to this today, at least hey, I didn't want to wake up during this day. Believe me, I would much rather be, doing something else, having fun at the moment, which we will be. We'll be having more fun. I do have a Singsu Grimsley video coming out soon against Ante. That should be fun. All the downsides aside from the Legendary Arena rerun, one thing that I do appreciate about it, hey, look, there are some good things, right? Is that the amount of options that we get to use against Entei this time around, it's so fun, man. It's so much more fun than the first time Entei came around. The first time Entei came around, that was like the first Legendary Arena that dropped. No one was knowing what the heck was going on. It was a new experience. The units that we had back then weren't as powerful. There wasn't as a wide of a variety, right, in terms of investment, all that stuff. It's really fun so far. If only got rewards for it. But hey, maybe the rewards were all the friends we made along the way. Anyways, again, enough of me ranting. You guys have fun as much as you can, right? Send in feedback again. As the billionth time I've mentioned this, but yeah, anyways, that's this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video. We're on the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. Oh, one more thing. Please stop harassing me on social media about this, guys. Harassing me doesn't do anything. Just send in feedback. That's just much more. It's more constructive. It helps your cause more. Endlessly tagging me on social media, calling me names or whatever. I don't think that really helps that much. All right. Puts you in a bad mood, puts me in a bad mood, and nothing gets accomplished. Why would we do that, right? So, anyways, yeah, have fun, folks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.